Hello everyone, and welcome to the semi-final coverage of the Ontario Doubles Crokinole Championship. I am Linder Wendt, coming to you from the Minneapolis Crokinole Club, and here on the board we have the reigning world champions, Tracey and Andrew Hutchinson, the Canadian cue balls, versus Pitter Patter, Darin Van Gammeren, and Garret Tracey. So we have a little family rivalry. Garret and Tracey together have won the Maryland doubles tournament 2 years in a row, but in this contest they will be adversaries, with Tracey teaming up with his world championship partner and Garret Tracey teaming up with Darin Van Gammeren. We see Garret Tracey is to open this round, and he comes up a bit short, so we are bringing play straight onto the board as Tracey successfully converts a heavy hanger, giving the cue balls a nice lead to start off. Darin keeping the pressure on with an open 20. And Andrew carefully selecting his disc and coming up a bit short. We'll see if Garret can get us back on serve with a takeout 20 here. He gets the 20, nice shot there. He does not get the takeout, so open 20 from Tracey will still hold the lead for the cue balls, and he gets it. So Garret and Darin still have the burden of getting something done, as they are playing against the hammer with equal 20s in the cup. Andrew trying to be careful not to leave a good opportunity to come in for Garret. We'll see what he does. It's a nice shot. He did not leave a 20, but Garret may have a nice opportunity to hide from his father. He comes a little outside the post, so Tracey does have a line to make this, but these are certainly missable shots. Tracey hits it nicely, and the cue balls stay in a nice, although slim, lead. Darin sticking inside the house, and Andrew, will see if he tries to leave his disc just right between the pegs there. I think he may have tried to, but he got a little inadvertent follow-through, I believe. Still not a great spot for Garret. He might go for the follow-through 20 here to put his team back up in the cup. He hits it square, sticking between the pegs. Tracey is going to have to come through the alley here, which he does successfully, and he does not leave much for Garret. Tracey joking that Garret should go for a dirty hamster, which would mean that he would hit that opponent disc off the post back into his to bump his own disc into the 20. It would be quite a challenging shot, which is why Darin did not go for it. Yeah, you hear Garret electing for the follow-through. We'll see how that goes. He catches a post, peels the board. Not quite the result he wanted, but also not the worst thing. It does force play back to the middle, and if Tracey were to have missed that shot, the team Pitter Patter would be in a pretty good position. Darin making his open 20, keeping the pressure on. And Andrew Hutchinson coming up short. We'll see if Garret, he's given a very similar shot to what he had early in this round, where they'll be in a pretty good position if he can get a takeout 20 here. Oh, almost got the takeout, almost got the 20, but unfortunately that's not a very productive shot in the end, even though it was so close to being an excellent one. Tracey peels his shot, forcing Darin to shoot on the outside. Darin's got not much for options here. He needs either a 20 or some way of making it difficult for Hutchinson to take his disc out. Either of those are pretty tall orders in this situation. Yep, not much he could do there. Hutch just needs to take out this 5, and he and Tracey will be up 2-0. See some highlight shots there. That initial takeout 20 from Tracey, this nice touch 20 from Garret. And we are back into round 2. A quick thank you to Crokinole Depot and the Varna Crokinole Club for hosting the Ontario Doubles Crokinole Championship. To learn more about either group, check out the links in the description below. We have Jeremy opening with a 20 here, and Darin coming up a bit short. We'll see if Andrew goes for a touch 20 or maybe try and get the takeout 20. Nope, he opts for the touch 20 and converts it. So Garret sinks the 20, keeps some pressure on the cue balls. Jeremy likely to just opt for a takeout, maybe even try and roll. Nope, he sticks. Not sure if he wanted to or not, but still a very solid fundamental shot. And Darin lining up. If he has a chance for a 20, it'd be a pretty thin line, but he gets it. Very nice shot from Darin Van Gammeren, and that ties things up. And Andrew Hutchinson comes up short again. Uncharacteristically, Andrew Hutchinson has come up short a few times here. Garret converts a nice touch 20. And then Jeremy Tracey hits that. We'll see. Yeah, Darin talking about kind of coming between the posts, which would, in theory, keep Andrew Hutchinson away from the 20 hole. He came up a little short, so there's definitely an angle for Andrew Hutchinson to get a takeout 20 here, an angle on in. He nails it. Great shot from Andrew Hutchinson. That ties up the... No, excuse me. That gives the Tracey and Hutchinson a lead in the cup, I believe, unless the scoreboard is off. Jeremy Tracey gets a takeout, comes a bit away from the hole there. And Darin lining up a shot. It's a nice takeout. Sticking right there, sort of keeping Hutchinson and Tracey in the vicinity of the hole, but at the same time not giving them anything they can really work with. Hutchinson brings the disc over to Tracey's side, which could be nice. Garret now has to work a little bit to not leave Tracey a good angle in, but he does that nicely. Came off the post a bit, not sure if it was fully intentional, but he did really prevent Jeremy Tracey from having a nice angle in here. Tracey comes to a nice spot right in front of that post. Darin might have to go for a hamster where he softly touches off the black piece. Oh, it looks like he may be coming for the takeout from the outside. He's lining it up, but he doesn't quite like it. He's opting to look at other angles here. And it looks like maybe he will be going for that hamster. Oh, he had the line perfect. Just a little bit too much force on it. Now Hutchinson and Tracey are in a pretty strong position here. Hutchinson may have been going for the follow-through there just to solidify the lead. And Garret misses the takeout. That puts the team pitter-patter of Tracey and Van Gammeren in quite a tough spot here. Lining up what he believes to be the easiest takeout. He comes through the alley, gets it nicely. There might be a touch 20 here for Darin Van Gammeren, but I don't know that that would meaningfully improve their odds of winning this round. Oh, he gets a takeout 20. That's a nice shot. From my angle, the line didn't quite look like that was there. Hutchinson, is he lining up to bump through his own? He does. Nice conversion. That's a tricky shot. So Garret Tracey left needing a double takeout 20 to tie. That's going to be... He pushes the cups away so that there's a possibility for his disc to come off as damage across the board. It's a valiant effort from Garret, but alas, the Canadian cue balls take a 4-0 lead in this semifinal match. And you see some nice highlight shots there. The touch 20 from Garret. This beautiful angle in from Hutchinson. That was an amazing shot. You see the fist bumps there, getting reached out early. And yeah, another nice shot from Hutchinson there. And Darin Van Gammeren will be opening this round. He does so in perfect fashion with a 20. Hutchinson follows it up, and we are off to the races here, and Garret goes a bit long. It's always fascinating that doubles rounds, without fail, doubles rounds just almost never have quite as deep of 20s races as singles do. Competitors just have that extra break between shots, and it's harder to maintain their rhythm throughout the entire time. Darin Van Gammeren missing a bit long there. And we will see what Hutchinson opts to do here. Looks like he could hide on that back one and make Garret either take a big risk playing through his own or have a pretty poor lane to shoot at. Yep, and Garret is taking the risk. He's playing through his own here. See if he can even get a follow through. Nope, that's what the risk was. He peeled his own shot, took it off the board, and now Garret Tracey has an open 20 opportunity to really make it hurt. He misses long, but the cue balls still have a nice positioning here, having 2 discs on the board and being up a 20 and having hammer. The team of Garret and Darin really have their work cut out for them here. And Hutchinson likely to just stick his shot, trying to get it sort of between the posts to keep Garret out. Oh, beautiful execution there. That leaves Garret with just about nothing to shoot at. See what Garrett's able to do here. He goes for a takeout. Little strong, heavy-handed. He comes off a post and peels, giving Jeremy another opportunity to sort of bury them. He comes up a little short. So, it's still well within the realm of possibility that Tracey and Van Gammeren could come back here. See if Darin's lining up a double takeout that he might like, or if he wants to try and get some sort of follow-through 20. Darin taking his time lining this one up. He went for the double. He got one of the takeouts, but didn't quite convert the whole thing. Hutchinson likely to just keep it simple, as that's exactly what he does. And no clear line for a double takeout for Garret here. Garret and Darin will definitely be searching for any opportunity they can get for double takeouts in this round when they're in a deficit here. Oh, and he gets it! A very nice shot from Garret, getting both discs off the board, using some pegs. And we'll see what Garret Tracey's able to do with this, if he goes for the soft touch 20, just a simple takeout, or if he tries and gets... Looks like he would need a little bit of follow-through action to get a takeout and a 20 here. He gets the takeout. It's just a little back there. We'll see if Darin has clearance for a drop back. It may be too far back. It's hard to tell from this distance away from the board. But Garret did sprinkle up his disc, which is typically a sign that he's going to go for a drop back 20. Oh, he's so close. A very heavy hanger. We'll see if Hutchinson can convert this and get a big lead for his team. He follows through a little over the hole, but that's okay. His team is still up a 20 with hammer, so they are still in a very strong position. Garret with a nice follow-through attempt, but it doesn't fall. Garret Tracey doesn't need to do anything too fancy here. He can just stick and maybe even roll out to his right a little bit to give Darin a worse chance at the 20. He comes a little to the left. Darin may have a chance for a takeout 20 here if he hits it just right, but it's a pretty finicky shot. He hits it just a little too square. Comes up short of the hole and long away from Hutchinson. Hutchinson catches a post he probably didn't want to catch and puts the disc right near the 20 hole, where Garret gets a takeout 20. That forces Garret Tracey to shoot, and a valid shot's all he needs, and he gets it. A great round of Crokinole there, as the Canadian cue balls take a 6-0 lead over Pitter Patter. Nice. You can see that nice takeout 20 from Garret there. A few highlight shots from Garret Tracey. This is a 2025-26 National Crokinole Association Tour event. To see more on rankings and upcoming events so you can attend, go to nationalcrokineassociation.com. Garret trying to convert that heavy hanger, ends up peeling it. You can see he's not too happy with himself after that shot. Jeremy Tracey finding his range, shooting an open 20. We'll see if Darin Van Gammeren can follow suit. He had the perfect line, just a little too hot. It bounces back out of the 20 hole. I think Hutchinson will likely try to peel away here. Roll a little bit to the outside. Absolutely beautiful execution from Hutchinson there. That shot takes so much precision, getting it outside the house. Garret bring it a little further so that his teammate Darin might have a chance to bring it into the 20. And Van Gammeren now eyeing up his line, seeing if he has what he believes to be a 20 opportunity. It's hard to tell from here if that post is going to be in his way. He goes straight through the house over to the other side, but perhaps Garret will be left with an opportunity on his shot. We'll see where Hutchinson tries to leave his disc. He ends up leaving it right there. This is definitely a makeable 20 for Garret, but he's got to hit that angle pretty square. Looks like he had the right line, just not quite enough power. And we are back into the house. We'll see if Van Gammeren tries to use a post here, or maybe just nestle up to that peg and leave himself in a position that's hard to take out. He does not succeed in getting the takeout on the cue ball's disc there, which makes their position a bit tougher. Cue balls have 2 discs on the board and are up a 20. But Pitter Patter has hammer here, so they should not be counted out. Garret just misses an angle in. Tracey now going through Hogan's Alley. Oh, he almost sinks the 20. That was a 20 he didn't really need, but sometimes it just makes sense to go for those when you know your disc is going to be heading in the vicinity of the circle anyways. Darin saying he likes a double takeout here? Or no, the takeout and the 20. That's what they meant by going for both. Yeah, getting the takeout and the 20, but he comes up short on the 20, and Hutch converts a nice touch 20 here. That puts Tracey and Van Gammeren in quite a challenging position. They miss another angle in, and now Jeremy Tracey shooting with pretty strong position. He might just try and get this one out, stick between the posts. Yeah, that's a pretty good spot. Maybe not exactly where he meant to go, but still leaving Darin Van Gammeren in a very tough spot. There's not a whole lot that he can do here. Good shot from Van Gammeren. He gets the takeout, leaving both discs in the 10. But the cue balls are still in a very strong position here. Hutchinson gets the takeout, sticks in the 10. And, yeah, Garrett's going to try and come off the post. He does come off the post, but sails right back out of the house. And this one is over, folks. Jeremy Tracey and Andrew Hutchinson are going to take this round. There's nothing Darin can do, but he goes for a takeout 20. He does not convert it. And the cue balls now have an 8-0 lead in this race to 9. Hutchinson getting a takeout 20. Tracey and Van Gammeren here, they need a reverse sweep. They're going to have to win 5 consecutive rounds of Crokinole in order to come back from this one. Yeah, they get the fist bump, starting it off down 8-0. They know their work's cut out for them, but like Garret says, let's have some fun. That's what Crokinole's all about. See if they can pull off an improbable comeback, defeat the reigning world champions, and move on to the finals of the Ontario Doubles Crokinole Championship. Players go around the world, each making their opening 20. And Garret starting round 2. Oh, just barely a valid shot. He sails a little long, but not the worst place to leave it. Tracey having to go up through the Hogan's Alley. And he does, leaving it nicely between the posts, not giving Garret a whole lot of opportunity. Garret going over the hole for the takeout. Hits a post along the way, but still finds its way off the board. Hutchinson considering angling in, but he, I think wisely, chooses to stick outside, forcing Garret to play out there. And then Jeremy here will be just trying not to leave Darin Van Gammeren with a nice angle in. He does so quite nicely. This is not really any sort of line into the 20 hole for Darin. See what he tries to do with this shot here. He hits it solidly, and now Hutchinson, yeah, he's going to try and angle and roll back behind the post to give Garret nothing that he can do with his shot. He comes into the house, I believe, accidentally. Hard to tell exactly the path that disc took, if it hit a post or not. Garret trying to maybe do a little much with that shot. He does not succeed in getting the takeout. And the cue balls are once again finding themselves in a strong position. You can see the cue balls have really done well this match about getting ahead and then just playing pretty mistake-free crokinole and forcing some mistakes out of Garret Tracey and Darin Van Gammeren and just holding a long lead. You know, they're never up 3 or 4 20s in a round, but they just get they get a 20 ahead or so, and then they just play strong fundamental crokinole. Let's see, Hutchinson planning out his next shot. Gonna take out and maybe roll over a little bit towards Garret. Yep, he does so nicely. Garret could try and go for a double takeout or a takeout 20 here. Neither one is an easy shot by any means. I think he went for the takeout 20, but he caught it too thin, losing his own disc off a post. This is starting to look pretty helpless for Team Pitter Patter here. We'll see if Darin can start off a miracle comeback here. Darin lining up a double takeout 20 here, or we'll see if he gets it. He does not, hits that second disc a little too square, leaving his in the house. Cue balls remain in strong position. Hutchinson just trying to get that takeout, which is easier said than done. He nicely hits slightly to the left of that disc, forcing it out through that window between the posts. Now every player at the table has one final shot. We'll see what Garret Tracey can do here. We're having a little discussion of desperation here, seeing if anything can be pulled off. They would need something of a minor miracle to come back for this one. Oh, a very nice shot from Garret. A takeout 20. That keeps a little pressure on. Jeremy Tracey opting for a bump and run, which not quite. Each player has 2 shots, and 35 points are on the board for the cue balls, despite being down a 20. So the cue balls are up 15 points. So Garrett's saying they'd need more than a touch 20. He's going to need a takeout. Or sorry, he needs more than a takeout 20, because if he gets a single takeout 20, they would be tied in the cup. They'd be up 2 in the cup, but Hutchinson would have that on the board. We'll see. It looks like he's going for a double takeout here. Oh, great shot from Van Gammeren. That was a double takeout plus a demotion. Yeah, that flipped the round on its head, I think. Yeah, great comeback from Garret Tracey and Darin Van Gammeren in that round. It seemed like they were totally out of it, but that nice takeout 20 and this double takeout demotion from Darin was huge. You can see the slight uncoordination in the high five fist bump there. That's pretty classic, always a funny time. Video coverage is provided by Tracey Boards. They're the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championship, so you can buy yours today at traceyboards.com. Jeremy opening up this round with a hanger and Darin converting, although not getting the takeout. We are now tied 1-1. And Garret, almost firing a 20 there. Not sure if he was necessarily going for that, as his team has hammer. They don't necessarily need the extra 20, but, you know, more 20s never hurt if you can make them. See if Jeremy's lining up a little bit of a push here. Oh, beautiful shot from Tracey. That was a lovely follow-through. Darin is not able to even out the cup, so the cue balls could take a little bit of a lead here if Hutchinson can convert this heavy hanger. He does. Nicely done by Andrew Hutchinson. That gives a 220 lead to the cue balls, and Garret Super Steves sailing through the house. And now once again, the cue balls find themselves defending a lead, and Team Pitter Patter has to work to claw their way back. Heavy hanger for Darin. He hits it a little too square, comes up short, and now a heavy hanger in the opposite direction for Andrew Hutchinson. He doesn't convert it, but he's probably happy with that result. Nice little roll to the outside. And Garret gets the takeout, staying out in the 10. And Jeremy demoting that other disc, making sure that he and his partner have plenty to play with outside. There's no way that they can be forced back in to shoot for 20s and take risks. Darin tries to carve in, stays outside. Hutchinson takes that disc. His teammate nicely left out there for him. And Garrett's finding himself in a tough position again. Yeah, Garret thinking about going through his own to try and peel everything off the board. That would be a very tough shot. Instead, he's going to peel that disc and break the pattern. Tracey just replacing that disc with his. And Darin, see if he opts to try and hide and force a mistake out of Hutchinson, or if he's going to try and find his way into the house. I think he's going for the hide there. He's making Hutchinson shoot down Hogan's Alley, so certainly a mistake-prone shot. But Hutchinson is not someone many would describe as a mistake-prone player. See if he's able to convert here. He is beautifully straight, right down the posts and through to get the takeout. And once again, Pitter Patter is hurting. But I said that last time, and they made a very nice comeback. Garret getting the takeout, sticking there. Tracey is probably going to try and roll away from Darin Van Gammeren so that he doesn't have any 20 opportunity. And yeah, Darin Van Gammeren needs a 20 in order for his team to have a chance at winning this round. He doesn't get it. Even if he sank the 20, it would have been a tie, which would make Hutchinson and Tracey go up 9-3 and win the game in the race to 9. Garret taking the inconsequential final shot, and that is the game. A 10-2 victory for the reigning world champions Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey, and you can tune in to see them in the finals. The third place game will be between Ray Kappas and Kevin Bechtel against Darin Van Gammeren and Garret Tracey, so stay tuned for that match as well. We will also have the finals, in which Ryan Burr and Sean Haggerty will be the ones to play the winners we just saw, Jeremy Tracey and Andrew Hutchinson. This is an interesting match because we'll have all three reigning world champions, with Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey, the reigning world doubles champions, going up against Sean Haggerty, the reigning world singles champion, and his partner Ryan Burr. Should be a great match, and stay tuned and watch it on Tracy Boards Crokinole on YouTube. Thank you.